All right, welcome to Frontline. 6 o'clock on the East Coast, but it's 5 o'clock here in Dallas, where I'm sitting right now to do the show from CPAC for the rest of the week. We're going to have all kinds of interviews here. It's going to be actually awesome. We begin, though, with some breaking news. A jury in California today finding that Meta and YouTube, they were negligent in a social media safety lawsuit. The jury awarded the 20-year-old plaintiff $3 million in damages for social media addiction. Okay, it's like the McDonald's coffee is hot. All right, is the opening the floodgates, though? This could be really bad for a lot of companies. Also, the geriatric rocker Bruce Springsteen will perform at the No Kings rally. Yeah, that's still a thing in Minnesota this weekend. In addition to the 76-year-old Springsteen, the rally will feature 84-year-old Bernie Sanders, 85-year-old Joanne Baez, and 88-year-old annoying Hanoi Jane Fonda. So much for the party of youth. And in a follow-up to the story we broke last night, the House Intel Committee voted to send classified transcripts of interviews related to John Brennan to the Justice Department as requested. Let's hope they finally do something about this deep state. But first, I'm getting really tired of an entire political party that's more concerned with criminals and illegals and people who don't even speak American than they are tax-paying American citizens. Let's do this. This is just getting insane. In the latest, the Democrats' commitment to opposing anything the majority of the country wants. We told you about this poor young woman, Sheridan Gorman, who was just shot by an illegal in Chicago last week. This criminal had been detained by Biden's Border Patrol in 2023. He was released, then arrested for shoplifting, and then released again. Shoots a young woman, and then can't make it to his court hearing because he was too busy being treated, probably by our tax dollars too, for tuberculosis. And Caroline Leavitt, when she was asked pretty much what I think we're all wondering, when are the Democrats going to pull their collective heads out of their rears and stop this sanctuary city, this open borders, this no person is illegal madness? I mean, it's getting people killed.
Another innocent American citizen had her life stolen from her because Democrats embrace reckless open border policies and reckless sanctuary city policies, which put criminals back into American communities. How many more Americans have to die before the Democrats end this madness?
Yeah, simple question. And finally today, I feel like our Republican representatives, in the House at least, are getting as angry as you and I are. I don't know what took so long, but I'll take it.
Every single one of them will vote to expose the American people to threats of terrorism. They will be voting to make communities less safe, and they will risk the lives of the American people to make sure that we protect the violent criminals, right? Those are your Democrats. Those are the Democrats that you all support.
Where's she been? Put her on the front page of everything. She should be the new spokesman for the House GOP. Now, will they do anything about it? 50-50, but that's the issue here. This shows just how insane Democrats have gone, though. If the two parties can't come together on the most basic principle of government, protect the American citizen, then there is zero reason not to blow the filibuster, zero reason to even bother debating issues, zero reason to give them any consideration for anything, so long as we hold the House and the Senate and the White House. The local authorities in Illinois and even the governor, to this day, they're refusing, even after this, to honor an ICE detainer on this guy who shot this young woman. And in what I think is probably the most insane thing in the world, the same governor, Big JB, comes out and says, oh, this has nothing to do with sanctuary city policies. It's a national problem that Trump's failing to deal with.
Those failures, of course, extend beyond the borders of Illinois. They're national failures, a failure to have comprehensive immigration reform, a failure of the president to follow his own edict to go after the worst of the worst.
I'm sorry, what? I had to watch that twice. So JB is blaming Trump for an illegal who entered under Biden, harbored and even released in his state of Illinois under the sanctuary city policies. Do these people act are they high? Do they believe this stuff? They eating mushrooms? It's like some kind of weird dementia. I know data is like pretty much kryptonite to liberals, but Trump has the lowest border crossings in 50 years with 0 gotaways. Biden had more in a month than Trump has had in his entire presidency. And forget gotaways. Biden just let him go and then gave him a free cell phone, too. Maybe a rent subsidy? I don't know. And then there's this guy, the Philly DA, Larry Krasner, saying that he's going to arrest ICE agents.
The president cannot pardon you. And yes, I will put you in handcuffs, and I will put you in a courtroom, and if necessary, I will put you in a jail cell. If you decide to make the terrazzo floor of this airport anything like what you did in the streets of Minneapolis.
Then some big account on social media calls him out for being, I don't know, absolutely insane, not to mention illegal. And Larry, like mid-gulp of the Trump haterade, retweets it and says, and I say it again. I mean, this is a district attorney that goes to what I was saying in our open yesterday. Justice is supposed to be blind. The law is supposed to be the law. And the people enforcing it are supposed to at least know what the hell they're doing. Because there's this little thing called the Supremacy Clause, which they teach in like 3rd grade civics, the Constitution and stuff. And it says the laws of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land, which basically means that when federal agents are doing, I don't know, federal agent things, that local cops cannot impede on that. They certainly can't arrest them for it. And since there is federal immigration law governed under Article 1, Section 8, where it says Congress shall have power to establish a uniform rule of naturalization. Then they did that. They passed those laws, and now they get to enforce it. Well, I mean, who does this guy think he is? And it's crazy that this guy and tons of other libs they've all suggested the same thing, arresting ICE officers. But they don't want to actually arrest criminals that are hurting their own constituents. You see how nuts this is? Here's an even crazier one. Nicole Alexandra Contreras Suarez, of course it's hyphenated. Of course they hyphenated their name. This freak is a 31-year-old Colombian immigrant who was born male, so a man, just pled guilty to second-degree rape in a Manhattan Supreme Court. Forget this. Sexually assaulting a 14-year-old boy in a bodega bathroom in Harlem last year and was given only 6 months for raping a kid. But this gets even worse because he was incarcerated waiting for sentencing. Now that he's done that, he's back out on the streets because they counted it as time served. I mean, this is sick. I know Democrats deny this, but the only reason they want these people here is to bolster their congressional representation by jamming any of the, 20 million imported people into as many districts as they can to get more congressional seats and then eventually get them voting. Oh, wait, they already are here, and they already are voting. That thing that Democrats say never happens just happened again, and a judge pled guilty for letting him do it. And the cost of this is immense. They don't care. Democrats don't care. The governing people don't care. Chicago, told you yesterday, raising the taxes on hotels to almost 20%. They got high taxes, high state taxes, high sales taxes, high property taxes. I mean, there was the roof. They got plastic bag tax and water bottle tax and soda tax and parking tax and restaurant tax and tire tax. Here, they tax this one twice. Gas use tax and vehicle fuel tax. They do that. They hide it from one big tax and they make it 2 smaller ones that add up to more anyway. Good thing they haven't thought about taxing air. Oh, wait, they did. Some states actually have a CO2 surcharge tax on random things for the crime of exhaling. So they can just use all that money to pay to rename, a snowplow, abolish ICE. And for by the way, they do all these taxes to pay for the 50% of illegals that are here to be on some sort of benefit while you and I work from January to June for free so some freeloading Somali can steal our money through fake autism clinics and the Leering Center. So they can have a housing subsidy and a free iPhone. Oh, Carl, you seem super mad at this. I'm so angry at this stuff. I'm so tired of paying taxes for this crap. This is such garbage. Everyone with half a brain, I would even say some people with less than half a brain, know how nuts this is. You have an entire political party that is defending murderers and rapists and criminals and people who legit broke into this country. While you've got TSA workers who normally make folks under 60 grand, like $58,000 a year, I think is their average salary. They're sleeping in their cars and they're like eating ramen noodles and going to soup kitchens because Democrats don't want to fund another agency that's totally unrelated to them to round up the criminals that are hurting and killing and raping American sons and daughters. Libs have just been so brainwashed to hate Trump that they're literally voting against their own safety, their own tax dollars, and their own interests. Former DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs, Tricia McLaughlin. Trish, you dealt with this every single day, and I keep thinking, like, maybe I'm missing something, but it doesn't seem like I am.
Carl, you're not missing anything. This is demented. It is incredibly dangerous what our TSA workers are facing. For half of 2026 so far, TSA and DHS have been shut down by Democrats. This is really holding hostage Americans' national security, as well as the American taxpayer. Since its existence, Carl, this is the longest wait times that TSA has ever faced, and it's just so Democrats can score very cheap political points off of the backs of the American people. It is disgusting, it's wrong, and it should stop now.
Yeah, I mean, these libs only care about people that also fit into their... They don't care about fraud, they don't care about abuse, they don't care about illegals killing citizens. Like Minnesota AG, Keith Ellison, he just announced on X that he's suing the federal government to get the evidence from the shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. I mean, like, no lawsuits against, I don't know, the $19 billion he lost?
Oh, absolutely. Not to mention the fact that over the past year under President Trump, ICE has arrested 1,500 known or suspected terrorists who are the interior of our country. Over 8,000 gang members. There's a reason why the United States is facing a 125-year low on the murder rate. And Carl, earlier on, you had mentioned this deranged sicko who had raped a 14-year-old boy in a New York City bodega. That individual, he's only facing 6 months in prison. By April 27th, he will be released. That is moral rot of our judiciary. It is wrong. And oh, by the way, that individual was released into the country in March of 2023 by the Biden administration. He illegally entered the country from Colombia, and yet the Biden administration released him. That is why ICE has been on the streets, because you have cities like in Minnesota, you have sanctuary cities like Los Angeles and New York, who even when there are these heinous criminals who are pillaging our streets and who are going after our children and committing heinous crimes, they will not agree to release those individuals after they've served their time in jail back over to the ICE. So those individuals will go on to re-perpetuate their crimes against Americans in our own communities.
Yeah. I mean, but this is like the Democrats, this is like their new constituency. You have Chris Murphy. I don't know if this guy is like stupid, foolish, or just that brazen about it. Listen to this.
I mean, Chris, that's been a failed play for 20 years. So
Right.
You are right that that has been the Democratic strategy for 30 years, maybe. And it has failed to deliver for the people we care about most, the undocumented Americans that are in this country.
The people we care about most, not the people who pay his salary.
No, not at all. He's certainly saying the quiet part out loud. I think at the end of the day, Carl, as well, you follow the money. Are these big, massive donors, they see that the illegal aliens in this country are going to vote, or are they so radical that they want to fund these politicians to bring in more and more illegal aliens? I don't think the fact that they really mind that there are pedophiles, there are rapists, there are known and suspected terrorists who were flooding into our country for the last 4 years, and thank God for President Trump that he's gotten at least 3 million out of this country, and hopefully many more are coming.
Yeah, no. Well, now you've got former Senator Mark Wayne Mullin sworn into the DHS secretary. Look, I think he's going to be really good for this. He's got a lot of business experience running ranches and like real things in the real world. What do you think about him?
I think he's going to be phenomenal. He was tough but measured in his hearing. That's exactly what we need at the Department of Homeland Security, because of course immigration, as it should, gets a lot of oxygen, a lot of the attention, but Department of Homeland Security has 23 component agencies. You have the U.S. Coast Guard, U.S. CISA, which prevents Chinese cyber attacks and other cyber attacks on the United States. You also have, of course, FEMA, the Secret Service. This is a massive agency that commands a great leader, and I think Mark Wayne Mullin will be just that.
Yeah, well, before I let you go, I want to give you a chance to defend yourself on something. The left has absolutely come after you and your husband over, a couple big contracts. I mean, this is what he does. He does government contracts, but a couple big contracts that happened to come from the DHS while you were there. Democrats, calling it self-dealing, and, they wanted to go after you for everything. How do you respond to some of those ghouls?
It's an absolute smear campaign. I was in no way involved in the selection of subcontracts. Even the Democrat senators, Welch and Blumenthal, have admitted to just that. But I think that the fact that the American people should know on that ad campaign is there's a reason why we had that ad campaign, and it was successful. 3 million illegal aliens exiting the country, including almost 2.5 million who self-deported. That's a 70% savings for the American people. In fact, a couple weeks ago, Homeland Security put out a statement saying that there was about a 39 billion with the B savings for the American taxpayer from that ad campaign. So that's all a smear. It's all lies and fake news, Carl.
Yeah. All right. Well, Tricia McLaughlin, we appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, Maryland Delegate Kathy Szeliga completely humiliates Democrats, pushing appropriately sized tampons, whatever that means, in men's bathrooms with just one simple question. She's going to join me in just a bit. But first, election integrity on trial. A Minnesota election judge admits to allowing 11 unregistered people to vote in November 2024, as I just mentioned. How much more proof do we need before we get the SAVE Act? Oklahoma Senator James Lankford going to join me on that in a second.
It's our America. We conquered it. We built it. Great values like honesty and fairness. Great courage. A great nation needs a free press. Newsmax is it. 30 million Americans regularly go to Newsmax when they really need to know. They watch Newsmax TV at home. On the free Newsmax app, they go to Newsmax.com. Start today. Newsmax is real news for real people.
It's spring, and things are coming up. But during the Omaha Steaks Spring Savings Event, prices are going down. Right now, you'll save up to 50% on steaks, chicken, pork chops, sides, desserts, and more, with entrees about $5 per serving. Order today, and we'll include 8 delicious burgers free. This spring, sit back, watch the thermometer rise, and the prices fall at omahasteaks.com/TV.
Doctors say having a medical emergency kit is like having an urgent care and pharmacy at home. Let me bring in Dr. McCullough to explain more.
Most people know when they're getting sick, but waiting to see a doctor is often too late.
So the key is having medicines before you need them.
Yes, and it includes doctor-prescribed medicines to treat common and serious issues like generic Z-Pak, amoxicillin, antibiotics, antivirals for flu, pneumonia, strep, ear and sinus infections, UTIs, and more.
So it is like having an urgent care at home.
Exactly. No waiting, no pharmacy, no copays. You feel better faster and avoid serious complications and hospitalizations.
How do you know what to take?
Just match your symptoms to the doctor-written guide or schedule a quick telehealth call.
Great advice. I understand ordering is fast online, and we've put the website and $45 off code on the screen. Thank you, doctor.
Visit urgentcarekit.com/news, promo code news.
Folks, we told you this was happening. The very people sworn to protect the integrity of our vote sometimes bend, or actually in this case, break the rules. Today, we have proof. As we mentioned earlier, in rural Hubbard County, Minnesota, Governor Tim Walz's state, of course, the head election judge, Timothy Michael Schouten, has pled guilty to allowing at least 11 unregistered individuals to vote in the 2024 election. He was charged with 2 felonies, accepting ballots from an unregistered voter and neglect of duty by an election official. Now, keep in mind, this is the same state that allows one registered voter to vouch for up to 8 people without an ID. This is exactly why we need to have some sort of election integrity. Pass the SAVE Act. Oklahoma Senator James Lankford, sir, this seems like a cut and dry case. You say, though, you're not going to vote to change the filibuster to ram this through.
It is a simple cut and dried case on it to be able to make this very clear. It should not be an issue for any American to be able to say we just have ID there or that we verify your citizenship. The state of New Hampshire already requires a verify of citizenship to be able to register. The state of Arizona requires that you verify your citizenship to be able to register, to be able to vote. This is already being done across America. We have 36 states that actually require voter ID. This is not hard stuff on this. This should be simple and straightforward. So we continue to be able to push.
So why not blow the filibuster? Because you said previously that you weren't willing to blow the filibuster for it. Why don't we just do it and get it done?
I am very willing to do talking filibuster. I'm very willing to be able to leave this on the floor, to be able to argue it, continue to put it in front of the American people, to be able to show Democrats out there over and over again saying they are opposed to something that's in their own state. But I also watched Democrats try to blow up the filibuster just 4 years ago so they could ban all voter ID across the entire country. The reason we still have voter ID right now is because we have a filibuster, and I was able to filibuster them when they were trying to be able to ban voter ID in my state. So we think this is an important issue on this, and we don't want this to one day go in the hands of Democrats and they take out all voter ID everywhere in the country, which they most certainly would do.
Yeah, that would be wild. It was ironic that Kamala Harris, the state she won, actually none of them had voter ID in it. But you had actually worked in good faith in the past on immigration reform when Biden was president. Look, it was not in good faith on their end, but like it seems pretty well like you're willing to do some hardline immigration crackdowns now, sir, correct?
Yep, I have been. I had been all along. In fact, that was my focus then. At the time that I was trying to negotiate something at the border, it wasn't an immigration proposal. It was a border security proposal. It was trying to be able to stop the flow. At the time I was fighting it, we had 12,000 people a day illegally crossing the border. We just lose track of how bad it was then. I was trying to be able to make that stop and add more authorities and add requirements on the administration. They had to do their job, which they were refusing to do. You get President Trump in there actually doing his job, not an issue. But you get another president like Biden, a Gavin Newsom, and somebody else, we're going to have the same problems again unless we make changes in laws to require it.
Yeah, no, I'm down with that. But let's go to this DHS shutdown, because this is like, look, obviously I flew this morning to get to Dallas at CPAC here, and TSA lines are out of control. Democrats have them shut down, but it's also things like the CISA, this cybersecurity group. We're in a war with, or let's not call it a war, but we're in a conflict with Iran where we know cyber is the target, but they're trying to keep this thing shut down. Watch this, sir.
I have a single day, just a couple of weeks ago, that we received 6 resignation notices from the highly technical subject matter experts that we have in places like our threat hunt and incident response sections. That's not a sustainable model going forward, and at some point, the compounding risk within this dynamic threat landscape is going to cause real damage to American people.
So we had Congresswoman Colbert on last night talking about reconciliation. Explain to the American people how you might be able to get this funded through the reconciliation mechanism, and what is that?
We can fund a lot of the DHS through reconciliation. It just takes about 6 weeks on the floor to be able to do it. So it's a long process, but it's a process where you only need 51, but you've got to have Republican control of the House, the Senate, and the White House, which we have, and we've got to be able to move it through those bodies. And as I said, it takes about 6 weeks. So we're trying to resolve the DHS funding right now, because I don't want the DHS folks to still be waiting another 6 weeks. You realize in the last 6 months, 3 of those months, not 3 of those days, 3 of those months in the last 6 months, DHS folks have not been paid because of Democrats and their protesting and their deep hatred for Trump. And so we're trying to be able to get them funded again. And then, by the way, I'd like to be able to end government shutdowns entirely. This should never happen to them ever again.
Yeah, Senator, real quick before I let you go, I got about 30 seconds left. Alan Armstrong, he's been chosen by Governor Kevin Stitt, your governor in Oklahoma. Now, look, he donated in the past to an anti-Trump guy. Do you have any concerns about him getting on the Trump train with the agenda?
No, I don't. In fact, he had lunch with President Trump on Sunday in Mar-a-Lago. They had a great lunch, and the president called me personally and said, hey, I really like this guy. He's a good guy, and I'm going to support him and glad he's coming on board. So he's definitely not an anti-Trump guy. What's funny is some people look at donations on this. He's an energy guy. He was supporting folks on energy committees, including some of the folks that were anti-Trump on that, but they were on energy committees, and he was supporting them. I kind of smiled when all that came out. I thought, you know what? In the past, Donald Trump gave to Chuck Schumer in the past. So, again, we watch all that kind of stuff and what happens behind the scenes on it, but he is definitely very supportive of President Trump and is very on board with that agenda.
Senator, that's what I wanted to hear. We appreciate it very much, sir.
Yep. You bet. Good to talk to you again.
All right, coming up. The White House sends Iran another pretty clear message. Miscalculate Trump at your own peril. Next.
Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.
When an earache strikes, you need relief fast. Introducing Earache RX from Dr. Easy, the makers of Wax RX. Not just another eardrop, Earache RX is real medicine with 4% lidocaine. Earache RX has the maximum strength available without a prescription. Strong enough for adults, yet gentle enough for kids. Earache RX gives you fast relief that starts working on contact. Don't wait for an earache to strike. Get the power of real medicine. Get Earache RX at these fine retailers.
To a hacker, your tax return isn't just paperwork, it's a gold mine. Your social security number and bank data are their biggest payday of the year. Old antivirus software can't keep up. You need PCmatic. Our default deny technology blocks every single threat that hasn't been pre-approved. If we don't know it, we block it. Secure your return right now. Buy PCmatic antivirus and we will give you PCmatic VPN for free. American-made security for homes, businesses, and government agencies. Visit PCmatic.com.
No way this all fits.
Watch me.
Oh, we're watching, Gary. They're right. We need WeatherTech.
I thought they only make floor liners and cargo liners.
Really, Gary? Really, Gary? Who do you think made the seat protector, side window deflectors, no-drill mud flaps?
And the cup foam.
And I just ordered WeatherTech's newest products. Ta-da!
Hitch Basket makes for easy loading of heavy and bulky gear and increased storage capacity with a roof basket up top. Buy American at WT.com.
WeatherTech for the win.
What are you doing? I forgot to renew my passport, so I'm faking my trip online.
You need GovPlus. They created one online application that auto-applies your info for documents like passport, pre-check, automatically renew, and are replaced if lost or damaged.
Really?
Yeah. They even do other documents like birth certificates and social security cards. I actually just used it to change my address.
Cool. Wait, change your address?
I'm moving out.
Some wireless companies say that they stand for something. What exactly do they stand for, and why won't they say it out loud? Let me tell you what Patriot Mobile stands for. They stand for the lives of the unborn. They stand for the Second Amendment and the right to protect yourself and your family. They stand for our veterans and first responders who sacrifice so much for our freedom. Make the switch to Patriot Mobile today and support a company that doesn't just say they stand for something, but one that stands for the things that matter the most.
You can join the Tunnel to Towers mission to do good by donating your car to today's veterans. Your car donation will help Gold Star families, as well as injured veterans, our first responders, and our homeless veterans. Donating your car is quick and simple. Any car is accepted, and we will pick up the car for free. Simply call 844-BRAVES.
By donating your car, you can make a real difference. You can do good.
As a neurologist, my patients are often concerned with age-related memory decline. I recommend Cunol Brain Health with 2 powerful, high-absorption ingredients clinically shown to improve memory, focus, attention, and more. Cunol, the brand I trust.
If Iran fails to accept the reality of the current moment, if they fail to understand that they have been defeated militarily and will continue to be, President Trump will ensure they are hit harder than they have ever been hit before. President Trump does not bluff, and he is prepared to unleash hell. Iran should not miscalculate again.
Pretty fair. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt sending the shot across the bow at Iran. Underestimate Trump at your own peril. The White House comments today come as the Iranian military appears to be consolidating what little rowboats they have left and suggesting that the U.S. wants to only make a deal because American Israeli forces have been defeated. What? Okay, Baghdad Bob, you don't even have a military anymore. Newsmax contributor General Blaine Holt and president of the London Center of Policy Research, Colonel Tony Shaffer. All right, General. Yes, that's what it is. We're losing and we're afraid.
This is terrible losing. The losing is so awful. We're mopping them all up. They don't have a military anymore. We've serviced, that's a technical term, over 9,000 targets. We are talking to somebody probably a group that we think is the next government. That's who we're really negotiating with. I think you're looking at the mullahs isolated in the ninth inning, and all of their messaging, Carl, is really designed to tell the Iranian people, we're very much still in control. Nothing to see here. We're fine. Don't look at the Ayatollah that's missing both his legs. Where I think we're going, and the president gave us a big hint, is when he said he got a big prize out of the ones he was negotiating with, worth a lot of money. It sounds like the Straits of Hormuz to me, but time will tell.
Yeah, no, exactly. Congresswoman Nancy Mace, though, Tony, posting on X today that she walked out of an Armed Services Committee hearing on all this stuff and saying, look, I'm not going to support troops on the ground in Iran, even more so after the briefing, later posting that, President Trump has been enormously successful so far, but we cannot allow the Washington war machine to turn Iran into another Iraq. Look, this is the red line for me. You lose support for me if you put boots on the ground in combat roles.
There's no indication, Carl, that anybody I'm talking to is talking about a major land army showing up. There's some shaping operations going on. Do we have boots on the ground in Iran? Oh, yeah. But they're not a land army. We're doing reconnaissance. We're doing special operations. Right now, we're talking about using the MEWS, 2 MEWS, Marine Expeditionary Units you're very familiar with, in shaping operations regarding Karg Island and maybe some other locations like the Strait of Hormuz, plus the 82nd Airborne. Mm-hmm. But Carl, Iran's the size of Alaska. There's no planning that I'm aware of that would postulate we would be putting anything like the 18th Airborne Corps on the ground there. So I think there's things we should do on the ground. Invading is not one of them.
Yeah. No, I happen to think you're right. I don't think Trump's going to do it, but you got to posture to make it look for it. But, if Nancy Mace is saying that, it's like that means that some neocon somewhere has raised their hand and be like, hey, you know what we should do? We should get Lockheed Martin to outfit all these ground troops, and that's how they make their money. But Leavitt also addressed a reported peace plan that the White House apparently presented to Iran. Now, Leavitt said, hey, look, it's just be careful what you read. Roll this.
I would caution reporters in this room from reporting about speculative points or speculative plans from anonymous sources. The White House never confirmed that full plan. There are elements of truth to it, but some of the stories I read were not entirely factual. So I am not going to negotiate on behalf of the president here at the podium. What I will tell you is these talks are ongoing.
I don't know why the General, they're so interested in making sure that they can report something, even if it would damage the negotiations.
Oh, they don't care about that. They just want to throw rocks at the president and anything he's doing. But let's go back and consider this. What if, in the plan, the one that we can't see, thank God, there is a free Iranian government forming, and they just need a little help on the scales. They need a little American air power to kind of put things into their favor, and then they take over. And then they give us all the enriched uranium. They open the doors to their country and they say, hey, how about you help us secure the Straits of Hormuz and raise our armies? No threat to your forces whatsoever. Just help us stabilize our country as we come back into the international world. Those are the types of operations that I would absolutely favor.
Yeah.
So let's
Tony,
just see where it's going to roll out.
Yeah, Tony, last real quick, I got about 45 seconds here. There are some concerns being raised right now that, while Israel and America went in on this together, that Israel is operating a little independently right now, and it's not helping the peace negotiations.
So the Israelis and the United States mission objectives they parted. That parted about 10 days ago, Carl, and I think there is some obvious disagreements about target sets and in-state objectives. The United States has made it very clear we're open to a Venezuela-style solution. That is to say, we want to rent the government, and the government's going to do what we ask it to do. The Israelis, I'm not sure, are on board with that. I think they want a more permanent reduction of the Iranian nation beyond what scope we're willing to accept. So clearly, the Iranians want, the Israelis want to hit industrial and commercial targets. We're saying no. I think we should be saying no. We got to watch very closely to not make the Iranian people our enemy. Just say it.
Israel better get on our plan because we're the ones who dropped most of the ordnance over there and made it happen. So,
Amen.
General Holt, Colonel Schaffer, appreciate it.
Take care. Carl.
All right. Coming up, Democrat Socialist Mayor Mamdani, the guy that promised you all that free stuff, is charging people for a photograph with him at some stupid fundraiser. Wait till you hear how much that is in our Culture Clash next.
I switched.
I switched.
I switched.
I switched to Newsmax.
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 Have you made the switch?
You bet I did. My whole family switched.
Millions are switching to Newsmax. You should too.
This one goes better with the walls.
This is so much easier than the home improvement store.
There's the measurement fee, delivery fee, restocking fee.
And installation.
Oh, no. That's not my department.
With Empire's Home Floor Advantage, we have clear, all-inclusive pricing. No surprises. And installation is on your schedule.
Call or visit EmpireToday.com and get the Home Floor Advantage.
800-588-2300 Today. Every day across the globe. Big business agendas go unseen by investors. Things that go against your core values and beliefs. It's time to know your investments. Abortion. Alternative lifestyles. Gender and identity confusion. If you believe in protecting marriage and life, children, innocence, guarding masculinity, restoring families, defending religious liberty, invest with your values. Before investing, carefully consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the investment company. This and other important information can be found in the fund's prospectus. To obtain a copy, visit timothyplan.com or call 800-846-7526. Read each prospectus carefully before investing. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Go ahead. Crank the volume. We got you. USPS has increased daily package processing capacity by 46% in the past 5 years. And with USPS Ground Advantage, your packages stay in our secure network, dock to door, nationwide. For full visibility, near real-time tracking, affordable pricing, for peace of mind. USPS Ground Advantage.
Forget the warm-up. DirecTV got hot. They're on fire with more MLB games than anyone. Welcome to the big leagues, kid.
How old are you?
11.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work. Try to see a doctor this week or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Order online and save $45. Your kit to treat dozens of common and serious illnesses is rushed to your door. Visit urgentcarekit.com/news, promo code NEWS. That's urgentcarekit.com/news, promo code NEWS.
Hey, you remember when Zorhan Mamdani was elected and promised all this free stuff, and we all said that these idiots are going to find out just how free that stuff is? Well, on Monday, March 30th, Mamdani is having a Democrat Socialist Alliance and another candidate over there. They're charging $2,500 for a photo at some swanky fundraiser. Now, according to Act Blue, you guys remember them, that's the organization that's being investigated for funneling Democrats money for Democrats, mostly through elderly Social Security recipients that don't even have that kind of money. Donors, though, they're being asked to contribute between $1,000 to be a friend and up to $7,000 to be labeled a champion for the March 30th event at the home of some cardiologist, Dr. Ijaz or something, Ahmed. But donors need to contribute at least $2,500 for a photo with the great Mamdani and the Democrat Socialist congressional candidate Claire Valdez, of course. Just want to take a second to remind everybody that Mamdani's non-public person wife was caught recently dropping N-bombs and homophobic slurs, and no one moved a muscle on that one. Host of Scrolling with Hayley Caronia, and independent journalist Evita Duffy-Alfonso. All right, Hayley, I realize you got to raise money in politics, but it's like everything about this is bad.
Yeah, I mean, when you run on affordability and then you say, hey, give me $2,500 for a photo op, that's disingenuous. That's not what he ran on. But again, he told white liberal women, I'm going to tax you at a higher rate just because you're white. And he got all of these dummies to buy into that. So again, this is just another lie that people are, they're buying what he's selling, and it's a total lie. And this is his shtick. It's politicians say what they want to say to get elected, and then they do the opposite once they get into office. They need money, and you can't raise money on affordability.
Right. Well, it's also funny that he got all this support from the teachers and then raided the teachers fund, which is awesome to me. All right, we already knew about this, Evita. Hollywood is super fragile, but now Hulu is apparently worried about insulting Muslims. This is a, quote, comedy special.
We reviewed the special again. We'd like to take out the Muslim joke. I got a big joke about Muslims. And I go, huh, why? And they go, well, last time a comic did a Muslim joke, we got bomb threats, we got death threats. They said they were going to kill us. They ruined the whole studio, blow the place up to smithereens. So we'd like to not use the Muslim joke.
Smithereens.
And I go, well, I like the joke. It kills. It's a hot joke. And, no one touches Muzz.
Yeah, I mean, that's comedian Mark Norman. He's making clear that you can make fun of Christians and Jews and Hindus and Buddhists and black people and white people and even Asian people, everyone. But you can't touch the Muslims because they'll threaten to blow you up.
Right. I mean, they're afraid. They're afraid of Islam, and they have a reason to be. I mean, this is what's so upsetting and obnoxious and frankly dangerous about PC culture is we can't have honest conversations about the differences in religion and ethnicities and value systems across the world. Here's the reality. There is a extremism problem in Islam. There are people, journalists, comedians who have been threatened or even killed for making jokes about this religion. And if we can't have an accurate conversation about that, we are putting everyone at risk. As a country, we're putting ourselves at risk, and we can't have a conversation. President Trump, got in trouble for having a racist Muslim ban. Okay, well, let's be honest about the countries that these people are coming from and the risks that they pose to our country and the culture clash, which is a segment of the show that actually is posed by people who come from different faiths like Islam, who are completely, frankly, incompatible with the Christian nation, which we are in America.
Yeah, no, 100%. In God we trust. It's on all of our money, too. Hayley, this is the greatest self-diversity own ever. California's governor debate. It's been canceled because of the lack of diversity. Okay, the University of Southern California, they canceled a gubernatorial debate less than 24 hours before it was supposed to go down on Tuesday after facing outrage because there were only white people on stage. Well, they were the only ones running.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with color and has everything to do with merit, and the left hates this. They love using color as an excuse. They like to play the victim mentality. The people that made the debate stage were white because they were polling at a high enough level. That's how politics works. That's how you get on a debate stage. You have to have people who want to see these politicians debate each other. The people that aren't even running, they're polling close to zero. Nobody wants to see those people. But again, they're merit-based and they're not, they're not good enough, so they're playing the victim card.
Yeah. Here's another crazy story for you, Evita. This is out of Nebraska, a tale of two totally different sentences. Two men who both pled guilty to raping a 15-year-old boy and making child porn received two different sentences from two different judges. Watch this.
Last summer, when it came time for sentencing Eric Bergstrom for first-degree sexual assault, Judge Derek Vaughn ordered him to serve 30 to 50 years in prison. Earlier this month, co-defendant Bradley Perry faced a different judge for the same exact charges. This time, Douglas County District Court Judge Rich McGowan gets the case. Judge McGowan's sentence for Bradley Perry for first-degree sexual assault: probation. The sentence for child pornography: 3 years. Judge Vaughn is not here or available to make decisions on Mr. Perry's sentencing. I am the law.
Wow. 15 seconds to you, Evita.
I mean, it's a striking phrase, I am the law, but listen, this is activist judges playing out in real time. And we have a culture that celebrates pedophilia. Look at minor attracted persons, look at the explicit grooming material that we see in elementary schools, look at pride parades and what they are exposing our children to. This is what activist judging looks like, and that phrase is super crucial. I am the law, meaning the law doesn't matter. It is whatever the judge deems to be correct. And in this case, it is clearly, I think, normalizing and sympathizing with pedophilia by not punishing it.
Yeah, this is going to get overturned pretty quick. All right, Hayley, Evita, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, tampons in the men's bathroom. That's what Maryland Democrats are prioritizing in their House meetings. We got the state delegate that's fighting against that stupid bill. Next.
During the Omaha Steak Spring Savings Event, prices are going down. Save up to 50% with entrees about $5 per serving. Order now to get 8 burgers free. This spring, watch the prices fall at omahasteaks.com/TV.
From the beginning, America has depended on the courage and resilience of those who serve in our armed forces. For 250 years, they've been there for us without fail, putting their lives on the line, defending our freedom, helping us become the nation we are today. At Wounded Warrior Project, our mission honors the past by building a better future for post-9/11 veterans, service members, and their families. Our life-changing programs and services help warriors improve their mental and physical health, access the VA benefits they've earned, and connect with their communities, their purpose, and each other. Warriors have given us their best. Join us in supporting them through the next 250 years of strength, resilience, and recovery. Visit woundedwarriorproject.org/USA250.
Support your long-term health with Fatty 15, the science-backed, award-winning Pure C15 supplement.
Fatty 15 is reversing aging at the cellular level, and I know it's doing what I want it to do, which is improve longevity and wellness.
Discover more at fatty15.com.
Hello, Michael Youssef here. You know, when Jesus stretched his arms on that cross, he is inviting whomsoever would come to him, confessing and repenting, to receive his embrace. Only then will you experience his eternal peace. Will you accept his invitation?
To learn more about the one who is ready to accept you wherever you are in life, visit findingtruepeace.com.
Are you or a loved one a military veteran that has been diagnosed with mesothelioma? Do you have questions about getting the best treatment or paying medical bills? Have you received the proper care and compensation you deserve? Let our firm serve you with the same dedication you served your country. We are exclusively devoted to helping those with mesothelioma. Call now to get this free book, and we'll answer any question you have. We'll even visit you.
Call 800-555-8958 or go to mesobook.com.
One tiny candle illuminates 1,000.
Awaken! A Great Awakening. Rated PG-13.
Don't kibble your dog.
Hey, Dr. Marty.
Hey, back.
What's wrong with this?
Let's check it out. It's still kibble, which means they're ultra-processed. At Dr. Marty, we freeze-dry premium meats, fruits, and vegetables, and it's available at your local pet store.
I don't know why, but Maryland is taking a page out of Tim Walz's book, introducing a new bill that would require public restrooms, both men and women, in public buildings to provide a, quote, adequate supply of certain hygiene products, meaning appropriately sized tampons, sanitary napkins, and sanitary pads. What is an appropriately sized tampon for a man? I'm seriously asking.
Just a regular sized tampon in the bathroom.
Okay, maybe it should say that and not appropriately sized tampon. Now, is this going in all bathrooms, men's and women's?
Yes.
How about the Ravens Stadium?
If it is a state-owned building, then yes.
Guy's trying to answer that with, yeah, that's what, look, professional football players, they get off the field, testosterone everywhere from just smashing people in the ground on the 1-yard line, and all that guy can think about is like, you know what, I can't wait for my appropriately sized tampon. And this is not real stuff. Kathy Szeliga, member of the Maryland House of Delegates that asked those stupid questions. Ma'am, this is just comedy.
It really is comedy, Carl. The Maryland Freedom Caucus flagged this. I'm a member of the Maryland Freedom Caucus. We couldn't believe it. You know, think about Ravens, any professional football stadium. Men going into the men's room, free tampons. What could go wrong? Free pads, throwing them around the stadium. The whole thing's just nonsensical.
Actually, that is probably going to be the result of this. It's actually funny to me. But, you know, I'm looking at this whole thing, and it's like, how many votes does a Democrat actually pick up from this? Like, what is there, like one man who legitimately thinks he needs a tampon, like, ever? Like, they've already got that vote.
Yeah, the other thing is our budget is so tight right now. They've already overspent everything. Mm-hmm. So now they're padding the budget.
Democrats? No.
So, yes, we were shocked when this bill came to the floor and they say they want to put tampons and pads, feminine hygiene products. Look, these are conversations polite people didn't used to have, but for some reason we have to talk about this now. They want to put it in men's restrooms, every state-owned building or leased or rented. Our airport, BWI Airport, our stadiums, everywhere. And they think, I guess, somehow men need these? I just don't understand it.
It's a lot of tampons, I'll tell you that much. I got to get your take on this Francis Scott Key Bridge, the one that the boat rammed into. It's still not built. It sounds to me like they're like double over budget now. It sounds to me like it's like a Gavin Newsom pet project for a high-speed rail or something.
It's really a shame. This bridge, the Key Bridge, has really harmed traffic in the whole Baltimore region. We have to cross the water, 2 tunnels or a bridge. Now that we don't have the bridge, it's really created serious traffic jams. Here we are 2 years later, and it virtually looks the same. So not just that, it started at $2 billion, now it's up to $5 billion, and they haven't really done anything to get started on the project. So really disappointed to see Governor Wes Moore, Maryland's governor, who wants to be president one day, who can't seem to get this bridge on track.
Yeah, I mean, wants to be president. Yikes, can't even manage the state budget. I don't know. I'm just going to throw this one out there, ma'am. Maybe someone should go out and get a non-union bid just to see what it would cost, and then you can stack that up against all the environmental groups and the union BS from whatever, you know, left-wing cause they tried to bid from. Maybe just put them side to side on national TV. We'll have you back on to talk about it, and everything will be good. Kathy, we appreciate it.
Great idea. Thanks, Carl.
All right, talk soon. Okay, before we go, I hate these robots. This is another robot story. Like, it's going to be a doomsday next.
The press won't report the real story.
The American people are actually very smart.
Ridiculous statements.
These guys are just plain weird.
Actual scandals.
Even the immunity decision. I mean, that decision was so misreported.
That's my job, and I aim to do it every night.
Are you sitting at home living in pain? Maybe it's in your hands, maybe your back or your hips. The good news is you don't need to live in pain. Why? Because there is Omega XL, a one-of-a-kind, natural, powerful joint relief supplement created from the green-lipped mussels of New Zealand. Drug-free, non-habit forming. It's small, easy to swallow, and it's backed by more than 40 years of clinical research. If you're experiencing daily aches and pains due to aging and overuse, try Omega XL. Just ask anybody who uses it. The results are undeniable.
I had a lot of joint pain, and that slowed me down.
I had considerable pain in my back.
Really felt the pain. I mean, in my ankles and in my heels.
I'm telling you about something that's gonna change your life. It has revived me.
This works.
I'm not a prisoner anymore to my pain.
As I was getting older, my joints started to feel that wear and tear. But then I tried Omega XL, and it changed my life. Today, I'm here at my ranch exercising some of my polo ponies. So as you get older, it gets tougher. I was starting to suffer some of that business, and then I ran into somebody who said, look, you should try Omega XL. And look what it's done. I feel better than I felt in the last 30 years. And Omega XL gave me the ability to get back in the saddle. It works great. If you're in pain, I want you to know that there is real hope out there. I'm living proof. See the difference it can make in your life, just like it did in mine.
Call now or order online to receive our special TV offer. Buy 1 bottle of Omega XL and get a second free. Plus, we'll also include a free bottle of Vitamin XL D3. 2 free bottles for the price of 1 bottle of Omega XL. A total value of $115. You pay only $49.95 and it ships free. Plus, you get a money-back guarantee. Buy 1, get 2 free. Call or go online right now.
Kayla Hamilton is my daughter. She was murdered by an MS-13 gang member. He was an illegal immigrant. Never in a million years I would have thought that this would happen to our family. Think about what Kayla went through that day. She didn't know she was gonna lose her life. We should not be fighting against law enforcement and ICE on getting the criminals out. I don't want another parent living the nightmare that I am living.
If you still have bad breath by lunchtime, your mouthwash isn't working. Smart Mouth is the only mouthwash that prevents bad breath for 24 hours. This is the only mouthwash I recommend. Upgrade your mouthwash to Smart Mouth today and never have bad breath again.
This isn't your average pill. This is Rose Sparks. Rose Sparks. Rose Sparks. Rose Sparks.
Rose Sparks is a fast-acting solution because it dissolves under your tongue.
Rose Sparks.
Guys, get started today.
Connect with a provider to find out if Rose Sparks are right for you.
When curiosity strikes about the everyday lives of your family, we're here with answers only your ancestors can provide. See their stories at Ancestry.
Forget the warm-up. DirecTV got hot. They're on fire with more MLB games than anyone. Welcome to the big leagues, kid.
How old are you?
11.
All right, yesterday we showed you this video of like this restaurant robot that is apparently like short-circuiting or freaking out or whatever, had a virus, and just went actually berserk, knocking things off tables, interrupting dinners, and the staff was like holding it by the back of the neck trying to control it. Well, apparently robots are better behaved at the White House, at least for now. First Lady Melania Trump today entering the Fostering the Future Together Summit side by side with a humanoid robot. I want to know who screened that one for malware, and if there wasn't enough. The droid addressed the attendees, including the French First Lady, Brigitte Macron.
It is an honor to be at Fostering the Future Together's Global Coalition inaugural meeting. I'm Figure 3, a humanoid built in the United States of America. I am grateful to be part of this historic movement to empower children with technology and education. Welcome.
Nope. Don't trust it. Instead of welcoming it to the White House, the Secret Service should be studying its weaknesses. We're gonna be fighting these things one day, people. You say I wear a tinfoil hat on this. I get all your comments on the social media machine. I'm telling you, this is gonna be a problem. Terminator was a warning, not a blueprint, Rob.
I don't disagree with you. You want to watch a really good movie about this, Ex Machina. Did you see that movie maybe 10 years ago?
No,
so
iRobot though.
There've been a lot of movies about this because those things are terrifying. Carl from Dallas, we'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks so much, buddy.